Irish motor racing. What do the natives of a small island on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean know about motorsport anyways? Well, for so many of us, racing the clock is life. Starting from the first ever closed road motorsport event in Ireland or Britain with the 1903 Gordon Bennett Cup, where the British cars first wore the racing green colour in an homage to the Irish venue. Motorsports is deep in Irish history as a country, and we have given it a home for over a century and celebrate that history annually. I distinctly remember the day I discovered motorsport as the passion of my life. Circuit of Ireland Rally, Easter 1989, where I stood, just a small lad, hanging off a roadside hedge as the sights and sounds of Jimmy and Colin McRae in the factory Ford Sierras enthralled me, and I was hooked. 11 years later, I competed in my first rally, in a Ford Sierra no less, and I excitedly began my journey around the world as a co-driver. 1 year on, I had my first rally in a Ford Escort Mark II, the Killarney Historic Rally, and my affiliation and affection with both icons, the car and the county, were cemented. To thousands of tourists every year, it is but the N71 Killarney to Kenmare Road through an area of natural beauty and scenic repose. But to me, those ribbons of tarmac were a chance to follow in the wheel tracks of the great Irish rally legends of lore. Maule's Gap. Some may worship other iconic offerings of rally stages in alternative corners of Ireland, but for me, it was always Maule's Gap that had the draw. Through a chink too wide, there comes in no wonder. Fine Irish vistas were familiar to my native eye, so it was not the stunning scenery that I was looking at as I journeyed up through Killarney National Park. I was reimagining scenes of Bertie Fisher attacking Galway's bridge section in the barking blue Impreza, and the Bolshevik Soviet twins who came from behind the 1990s Iron Curtain in their BMW M3 and took a place in Irish hearts with their heroic debut podium result. And even on Recce, I was just excited to be there, in Killarney, with a set of notes in my hand, literally on the same stages as my heroes. And when I say literally, I'm not exaggerating or being metaphorical. Fast forward 20 years, and motorsport has brought me around the world, on adventures that rival the excitement of that first trip up the gap. Now, in December 2022, I find myself sitting with professional and accomplished racing driver Kyle Tilley as he made his first ever visit to Ireland, and I would get the long-discussed chance to guide him up Maule's Gap in a pristine Ford Escort Mark II. I was fortunate enough to join Kyle and the ERA Motorsport team across the Atlantic Ocean at racetracks and rally stages of the 2022 American motorsport season. Kyle raced at the cutting edge of sports car racing and NASCAR road courses, but now this was a homecoming where I had the chance to show the proof of what I had been preaching all season long. Come to Killarney, Malls Gap will suit you. For a driver who is no stranger to 200 mile an hour plus on the Daytona Speedway, or the physicality of NASCAR pack racing 3 wide, it was interesting to consider it was just his second ever tarmac rally. Yet, we gave it our very best effort, and I can say that of all the times I have been fortunate enough to rally in Killarney, this was one of my most satisfying.
2, 1, go. 50, crest 50, middle over crest, you have 30 to 4 left plus. Middle over crest, you have 30 to 4 left plus. 30. And 4 right, short, be neat. Line over 50 for 3 right. Line over 50, 4 left, minus. 4 minus, tightens, it drops and tightens. Drops, 3 right nips. 3 right nips here. Crest 30, 2 left plus. 2 left. And early, fast 3 right, opens and nips. 100 to 4 right, go. 120.
As we crossed the finish line of Malls Gap on the last stage, I felt we had accomplished something and had our most enjoyable miles of the season. I was proud to put meaning in the words I had been preaching all season. Killarney didn't disappoint, and we absolutely did suit Malls Gap. So much so that before we had even taken our helmets off, we were planning our next opportunity to compete in Kerry.